Task Force X is an off-the-books government strike team made up of convicts with no hope for release, serving as expendable agents for impossible missions.
And I am Aaron Moss, aka Brotherhead, your host on Task Force X, and I'm here to chronicle the tales of the Suicide Squad.
I'm Amanda Waller. I'm here to indoctrinate you convicts into our special forces. Nobody screws the wall!
Let's go ahead and get started. Hey, squad mates, Brotherhead here, and welcome to episode 69 of Task Force X. This episode is entitled Ledgermain, Ledgermain Part 1, aka The Mystery of the Atom, Part 1. We're going to be looking at issues 59 and 60 of Suicide Squad. Except for the cover dates and titles, both issues have the same artistic credits. So I'm going to do all that now, and then we'll look at each issue. So issue 59 was entitled Forces in Motion. Cover date, November of 1991. The on-sale date, October the 1st, 1991. Meanwhile, issue 60 was entitled Dangerous Games. This was cover dated December of 1991, but the on-sale date was November the 5th of 1991. I was trying to think what I was doing in 1991. I don't remember now. It's been a while. I think I was living with my buddy Dean and Ray there in Chowchilla, working probably at McDonald's. Wow, it's been a long time ago. Anyways, both titles have as I said, the same credit information. They were both $1.25 an issue. The writers was John Ostrander and Kim Yell. Penciler, Jeff Isherwood. The inker was Robert Campanella. The letter, Todd Klein. Colorist, Tom J. McGraw. McGraw. Sorry about that. These were reprinted in Suicide Squad, The Final Mission trade paperback, which was released in 2019. The cover for both of these was penciled by Jeff Isherwood and inked by Carl Kessel. And the editor of these issues was Dan Raspler. Now for the cover, we're going to look at issue 59 first. It has our Suicide Squad logo on the front and center on the top there. Right above it, it says The Mystery of the Atom. Below that, we have Batman, Superman, Aquaman with smoke behind them, and the Atom. They're both. All three of them are looking sternly down, and we see Ray Palmer running away from them. Looks like in fear. A lot of smoke or clouds in the background. It's very nicely colored. I love the colors on this. Again, Suicide Squad books tend to be more muted, a lot more shading, darker colors. This is the classic, Superman's in the red, blue, yellow, bright, vibrant colors. Aquaman's in his green and orange, vibrant. This is Batman in the blue and gray with the bat symbol. It's classic looking characters. Fantastic cover. I love this cover. And I think this titles the story is actually the Ledgermain Part 1, but due to this cover where it says, Mystery of the Atom, that's why I keep referring to this storyline as the Atom storyline. I'm a big Atom fan, so now they're finally dealing with the Atom being blown up, in quotes, and this new guy. I love the storyline. This is one of my favorites of the entire run. I've actually been waiting for this one to come along because I love this storyline. Like I said, I've loved the entire run, but this storyline is probably my favorite out of the entire run. Spoilers for the upcoming storyline I'm getting ready to talk about, and this cover is just the epitome. Is that the right word? This cover very clearly defines the story arc, and when I think of the Suicide Squad and I think of the Mystery of the Atom, this is the cover I think of. I remember, I may not always remember which issue number it is, but when I think about the Atom showing up in Suicide Squad, I remember this cover of Batman, Superman, Aquaman just standing in judgment of Ray Palmer, the Atom, who's running down below. So fantastic cover. I love it. Again, over my G.I. Joe show, I rate covers on a scale of 1 to 5. If I had to rate this one, I rate this a 6. It's fantastic. I honestly don't have a single complaint about this cover that I can see. What do you guys think? Did you guys like this cover? Is there something I'm missing that maybe it's not so good? Let me know. Send me an email to taskforcex@headspeaks.com. Let's go move on to the issue itself. We start off at Blood Island, Chesapeake Bay, Maryland, across the water from the Pachuca Naval air testing station. And we got President Marlowe. Well, I guess it's ex-President Marlowe. He's been held prisoner. He's outside to get his morning constitutional, if you will. And like this, it tells us, again, since it's got Superman and Batman, all of them in it, we have a nice little, credit in here. Superman created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Batman created by Bob Kane. And it lets us know that this story takes place before The Adventures of Superman 484 and Aquaman 1. So Aquaman has a new series coming out, and this story takes place right before that, and right before The Adventures of Superman 484. And I had to look real quick and see what The Adventures of The Adventures of Superman 484 was, and that's the start of the Blackout storyline. I don't remember the details, but I do remember that Superman gets amnesia, and I remember one part he ends up on an island with some natives, and he ends almost marrying one of the women there or something. It was a good storyline. It's been forever since I've read it, but that's the next storyline. So that's why this takes place right before that, because Superman's going to be busy for a little bit. So, but I do like that they give us a indicator as to when this takes place in conjunction with these other books. I love the shared universe idea, and I love continuity when it's done right. And I think this is a way of doing it right when it lets us know, this takes place before these two books. Go ahead and read this story arc and then go read those two stories. Let's do those two issues and continue on from there. So very nice. But yes, we got these guards, basically complaining that they have to watch this guy when there's nothing around he can do. There's a naval air station across the bay, major shipyards down the river. Annapolis is just upriver, and Washington's only about 100 miles northwest of the crow flies. The rat hole's crawling with guys like you and me, the MPs. Navy patrol no show. The Air Force flies overhead. He's lit up tighter than a drum, believe me. And the other guy's like, what about crack? His own country. And apparently it's being run by one of his lieutenants. And basically just kind of catching us up and letting us know who Marlowe is and what's going on with him. In case this is your first issue, you just started the Suicide Squad recently, you may know who Marlowe is. This is kind of letting you know. I let you know that he supported the terrorist group like the Jihad. And another guard's like, hey, ain't nobody going to break him out. Believe me, he's going to trial. Get what's coming to him. And basically, it's kind of letting us know that, this guy's going to be the main focus of this storyline. Even though the cover says it's the Atom. And that's the main part of this. Again, I know I am prejudiced because I love the Atom. But that's what I remember most about this story arc is the Atom stuff. So, very nice. I love the way they're setting this up. And then as they're talking, the two guards are talking about, one of the guys said, he's going to break him out. And the other guy said, well, if they don't want to break him out, what if they just want to kill him? And at that point, we cut to Amanda Waller and Cliff Carmichael in a boat offshore watching. Amanda's watching on her binoculars. And basically, she's asking Carmichael how sure he is of the plan. He's like, it depends how good your daddy gave me is. My chips are no better than any other computer chips that way. You put junk in, junk comes out. And yeah, I like that line because, again, as an old computer guy myself, that's a very popular and frequent phrase with computers. You put crap in, you're going to get crap out. So, it's only as good as the programmer or the information input into the system. And Carmichael's pretty much the same. He can make predictions. He can do all these estimates and all that. But again, he's only basing it on the information he has. So if he has bad information, he's going to give you a bad reply, basically. And as they're talking, we get a shadow portal, and Eve comes walking out like a Nightshade. And again, I love her costume. It's a purple and black costume. She got black sunglasses, I'm going to call them on. And she got this little shadow demon that's always popping right with her, nipping at her. Not nipping at her, but kind of following along like little pets, if you will. And so Amanda's asking Nightshade, was everyone in place? And she's like, if you're still arriving, they should be here by tomorrow morning. I warned Boomerang to be on time or I come looking for him. And I think Amanda's like, who knows? He might like that. And so we cut to a place called the Lucky Shamrock in Gotham, where we have Batman coming in looking for someone named Monty Walsh. And he's like, and again, this is a classic looking Batman. He comes in and he's like, where's Monty at? And, oh, geez, the Batman, I ain't done nothing. I don't know nothing. And one of the guys in the bar in a wife beater and jeans comes up, hey, back off. Monty's a little slug, but he's one of us, and you ain't got no business messing with the Badocks. And Batman's like, get your hand off. And behind him, some goon with blonde hair comes walking up with a chair, about ready to bash him in the head. And I just love Batman. Batman's like, as this guy puts his hand on Batman's chest, kind of hold him back. He's like, get your hand off. And the next page, we see him kicking the guy at the chair before the guy even gets a chance to swing. And he starts taking all these goons in the bar. And I like the shopkeeper, the bartender. He's grabbing his shotgun. He's like, no pistols. You know how he gets me? You try to use a pistol. Swear to heaven, the first guy pulls a gun, I'll shoot dead. Because again, Batman, in this continuity, Batman's never used guns. I know in his early appearances he did at times, but yeah, he's never used guns. He doesn't like guns because that's what killed his parents. He feels that guns are a weapon of the weak. And he tends to be a little more violent, I guess, when people pull out guns. That's why the barkeep keeps all, you pull out a pistol, I'm going to shoot you first. I love that. And as he's taking these guys down, he sees Monty Walsh running out the back, and he's like, I want words with Monty Walsh. Anyone else want to register a complaint or objection? I love that. Batman just mops the floor with these guys, and then he takes off after Monty, and he still catches the son of a gun, so... Batman's throwing around the wall into the trash, and the dude's all, what, you're not mad at me, are you? You leave word you have information for me, Monty? Then you try to get my clock cleaned? I don't like being set up. Oh, come on, Bats, just protecting myself a little. You hide behind the cowl, I hide behind my reputation. Same thing. And Batman's just got him in just a classic growl, got him holding up. He's like, your rep is a slimy little snitch who'd squill on his mouth if the price was right. I'm looking for information about the death of the Atom. Ray Palmer. What do you have? And he basically says that, government circle says that the Wall knew about it ahead of time. The Wall? You mean Amanda Waller? Yeah, Amanda Waller. Head of the Suicide Squad. She's back out of jail, in case you don't know. And word says she and her people are freelance now. He's like, I know all about it. You saying she had a hand in Ray Palmer's death? All I know is what I hear. Hey, you gonna let me loose? Because Batman's got him tied up at this point. He's like, ask your fellow vermin to nibble you free. I have some people to see. So again, I love that, we're getting caught up, Batman. Again, if you're newer to the book, it kind of lets you know that Amanda Waller, is out of jail. She went to jail back in issue 40, and she's out. The squad's gone freelance, and this all happened when she got out back in issue 40, 41, that 4-issue story arc, when they jumped ahead 1 year and kind of reset the table, if you will. Lots happened in the Suicide Squad over the last few years in the book. So this kind of is catching us up a little bit. Maybe if you read the book for a while and then stopped and you came back, it's letting you know, she went to jail, she got out, Suicide Squad's freelance, and, she knew about the explosion before it happened. So again, I love Batman just taking names and just kicking butt here. And then we cut to Metropolis on the Daily Planets, where we got some guy in a trench coat. Basically, he's like, come on, Mr. Superhero, time's money. They're not paying me enough to cool my heels up here all afternoon. And it looks like he's thinking it, but Superman answers, he's like, I'm right here. Holy, Superman. Because the guy has this PI, whoever he is, we'll find out here in a minute, has a gun at him. And Superman's like, you're not going to be needing that. Wouldn't do much good anyways. Again, because he was watching from the roof when Batman came up the stairs, which kind of surprised him. And like this, I was expecting a grand entrance. Sometimes it's better to be discreet. I take it you are. And find this guy's name's Pollard with the CBI. And I like Superman uses his X-ray vision to look at the guy's ID in his pocket. And he's like, your ID checks out. And he's like, oh, yeah, X-ray vision. Okay, very nice. So if you're not familiar, Superman is giving you a little bit of who his powers are, or what his powers are. I like the way they're setting up Superman in here. And basically this guy's telling him that it concerns former President Marlo Karak, we talked about earlier in the issue. The sources tell him that there's going to be either an attempt to rescue or kill him. And apparently the attempt's going to be made by the Suicide Squad. And again, we can kind of tell that because we saw the squad watching him earlier. And basically the United States wants to make sure Marlo reaches his trial and gets justice. I'm trying to quote justice. And he wants Superman to help make sure that he successfully goes to trial. I guess that's the proper term. I like this look here on top of page 10. There's 2 panels of Superman. One, it looks a little off, but this other one, he's kind of thinking. It looks a nice panel. Superman's got his finger up on his lip like he's just thinking, like, So very, very nice interlude with Batman, and then we go into Superman. Batman's hunting down the Atom, trying to find out what happened with him, and Superman's being, as I say, hired, but he's being sent to help keep Marlo in jail from the Suicide Squad. And then we cut to the Institute for Metahuman Studies, which is where the squad's based out of nowadays, and we see Adam Cray, aka the new Adam, walking down the hall. And we get some guys in the vent watching. That's Palmer, all right. I don't care what you say. It's Palmer. It's got to be. And again, we find out this is Black Snake and I forget his name now. Swarm or whatever his name is. These are the guys that showed up back in the Power of the Atom series, which I covered over on Head Speaks a while back. So again, before I go any further, I'm just pimping my own stuff. For more on these guys, check out the Power of the Atom 18-episode series, or 18-issue series that I talked about back over on Head Speaks. And I was just looking, and it looks like I started that back on episode 60 of Head Speaks, where I looked at the Power of the Atom. Before that, I looked at the Sword of the Atom. I looked at the Secret Origins of the Atom. But the Power of the Atom series started in episode 60 of Head Speaks. So definitely, if you're interested in who these guys are, more on them. I'll talk about it as I go along, but for more on my coverage of that, check out Head Speaks episode 60, and I'm guessing it probably went through 78 without double checking, maybe a little bit further than that, because again, I tend to skip things around sometimes, but that I may have skipped months, but I was pretty good on keeping it an issue per episode, so it probably went from issue 60 to 78, I'm guessing. So go and check that out. But basically, these guys are catching us up. That we got Black Snake. On this page, they don't say who the Wasp guy is or whoever he is. I forget now. So I want to say it's like Swarm or something, but that's a Spider-Man villain. Anyways, and we find out that, they've been stuck at 6 inches high for over a year. And this Black Snake guy is like, first chance I get, Adam's a dead man. So kind of setting up our character and letting us know that these guys are hunting for the Atom. And whether he is or is not Ray Palmer, they think he is, so they're going to try to kill him. Again, he's already mentioned that he's Adam Cray, Senator Cray's son. We have no reason to doubt that because, again, he's threatened Deadpool and... not Deadpool. Deadshot. Sorry, wrong dead character. And but these guys don't know that. They think this is the the Ray Palmer in disguise or hiding out. And then we cut to a hospital bed, or hospital wing of the IMHS, where we see Vertigo watching Poison Ivy in a hospital bed. And Dr. LaGrieve comes up. He's like, she'll be right, Count Vertigo. She was abused quite a bit on the island, but nothing was serious. And she should be up and around in a while. He's like, I thank you, Doctor, but that's not my concern. I was debating whether to kill her now or wait until she had a fighting chance. Because, again, she if you remember right, she had Count Vertigo under her spell back here a while back, and Vertigo doesn't like being under anyone's power, anyone's control, so it's kind of upset him just a little bit. So he's looking for payback on that. And he's like, well, it won't be now in any case, because I'm standing here and I'm not about to let you. Besides, there's something I think you should know. You are justifiably angry with the way she controlled you with her potions. Especially coming as did on the drugs the so-called Latinian drug freedom fighters fed you to bend you their will. And he lets us know basically that even though she controlled him and used her drugs to make her able to control him, between those and the drugs that the Latinian freedom fighters gave him to make him more docile, apparently it caused the chemical imbalance in his bloodstream to right itself. He's like, the doctor's saying there's no medical reason for your manic depressive state. Basically, you've been cured. And he's like, I don't believe it. I feel myself struggling with my disease. And the doctor explained, well, the test is conclusive. However, you still have the habit of your sickness, patterns of behavior that you lived your whole life. So basically, he's telling me he's cured, but the fact that he's lived with this bipolar, if you will, manic depressive state for so long, even though his mind's cured of it, his mind still thinks he's suffering from it. Because again, whenever you are affected by something for a while, it can take a while for your mind to realize that it may not be affecting you any longer. As I've said before elsewhere, that the mind is a very powerful thing, and when your mind turns against you, it causes you all sorts of problems, and it's not a good thing. Because again, the person's mind is a very powerful object. And he's like, you don't have this illness anymore to fall back on, so you have to decide from this point forward what kind of person you want to be. And I love Dr. Legrive because, again, he brings the heart, not only just the heart, but he brings a moral compass to the team, which sorely needs. That's why I like to have heroes like, Bronze Tiger and other heroes join up with the team, because it kind of helps bring these villains into line and helps try to keep them more on the, in quotes, straight and narrow, if you will. And as soon as the Grieve leaves, Deadshot comes walking up. I'm sorry, Floyd. Because at this point, Deadshot's technically dead, in quotes. He's like, yo, Vertigo, so you make up your mind whether you want me to snuff you or not? No, it is a difficult decision. I am sure you must appreciate. I received some information that casts everything in a new light. Floyd's like, so you think you'll know? Why is your bloodlust impatient, sir? Nah, what you choose makes no difference to me. We got a job coming up, and I don't want your head mooking it up. I don't want to get killed accidentally because your head's not on straight. And Virgo loses. He's like, let me get a call. Your own head, sir. That's a rat's nest, and you have the effrontery to impugn my mental state? And it's my head. If it gets me killed, okay. I just want your head problems along mine. He's like, as he storms off, I'll let you know what I decide. And again, I mentioned earlier about Adam Cray confronting Deadshot. I got a little ahead of myself. This is where it happened. I know I read that, but yeah, this is where it happens. Because as soon as Virgo storms off, Adam Cray comes up to him. He's like, what did he say? You're Lawton, right? That's right. I'm Adam Cray. You killed my father. Like, everyone I've killed had a father. He's like, my father was Senator Cray. Your father was a creep. I've killed better men than him. No apologies. And Adam's like, I didn't like him either. Doesn't make it right. You had no right to kill him. You owe me, Lawton. Me and my family. You owe my dad. And again, this was back in Suicide Squad. I want to say 24. Because Rick Flag was trying to kill the senator, and Amanda sent Deadshot to stop Rick Flag from killing the senator. And again, he didn't want to take out his own teammates, so he figured, well, if I kill the senator, Rick Flag won't be able to. He took a very loose interpretation of Waller's orders to off the senator and himself, which I thought was a great touch. Fantastic. And so that whole thing from so long ago was coming back, because again, we got the senator's son now as a part of the team, and he's confronting Deadshot, letting him know, you owe my family. You killed my father, no matter what kind of, piece of crap he was. And I like this. Floyd's not bothered. He's like, okay, when you figure out what I owe and how you want to collect it, you bill me. I'll give you one free shot. Make it count. You won't get a second. Now, let's get to the plane. The wall gets tested if you're late to one of her little meetings. He just walks off, leaving Cray like, what the heck? And again, Cray, for his Adam costume, he's still in the camo pants, boots, camo type, or not a camo, but like a green vest, a black short sleeve shirt, and that black hood, mask with his hair showing. It doesn't have a proper costume, in quotes, yet. So, and again, this is something, if we got him in a movie, this is probably something what we'd get, because again, a lot of times, even though superheroes are popular right now, a lot of times they still hesitate. They don't want to give us a full, in quotes, superhero costume, or they want to make it more realistic, which again, annoys the hell out of me. But then we cut to Blood Island, where we see someone crawling out of the ground. Yeah, we see something burrowing under the ground, coming up under this fence, and we get someone that's watching him. It's Golem, apparently, is the guy's name, that snuck into the camp, and we find out this name is a Golem. He's part of the Iath, and I'm still probably mispronouncing that, but that's how I pronounce it. And again, this guy that's watching, like, the honest metahumans and Arab metahumans, all here for the same man. One way or another. Any instructions? And the voice on there and tell them, let's wait. Let them make their move. Let the Israelis do the hard part. Then we take Marlowe from them. So we got another party on the scene. So we've got the Suicide Squad trying to either kill him or free him. Probably try to kill him. We got Superman coming to try to stop them. Batman's investigating the, in quotes, death of the Atom, which is leading him to the Suicide Squad. We got this party that's got some intention with Marlowe, that's going to get involved. We got these other two, the Hayath and probably the Jihad is the other team he's referring to, coming to try to free or kill Marlowe. So again, we got all these different parties in motion that we're trying to juggle. And I think honestly that John and Kim did a fantastic job juggling all these different characters and all these different teams and these different people that want to take out Marlowe for whatever reason. Either free him or take him out or whatever it may be. So I do love the way this is being handled. It's very nice. And then we come back to the Institute for Metahuman Studies, where we get Major Victory and I can't remember the other guy's name now. But they're walking along, I think it's Mazer, walking down the hall talking, and apparently Major Victory is, let me see real quick. Yeah, Major Victory was just appointed the head of the Captains of Industry, which is a superpower team put together by a corporation, if I remember correctly. And he's like, I hope you don't mind, that I've been named the head of it. And he's like, are you kidding? Listen, I know I'm good, but I'm also new. I'm really someone who knows the ropes are running this group now. Ben, from your experience, get some seasoning. You're like, well, I'm sure I can learn a thing or two from you, son. So these two are just basically kissing each other up and just complimenting each other as they're walking down the hall. Barbara, a.k.a. Amy Beddoes, Oracle's rolling down the hall watching him and listening to him talk. And I like that she sits there, kind of stops and watches the two men in tights walk by. She's like, little boys in spandex. Oh, stop it, girl. Because again, she's a grown woman, got grown woman desires. And, these are two, good-looking guys in skin-tight costumes, and she's like, things I like to do. Oh, wait, never mind. It's just like, when I see a beautiful woman walking down the street or hall or whatever, my head kind of turns and looks, and I get those thoughts. I go, okay, stop it, brotherhead. She's doing the same thing. I love that Barbara is so relatable to me, at least. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Anyways, but she's saying about these two superheroes. All of a sudden, it's like Barbara, and she kind of turns and looks at the person who's off camera. And here on page 17, it's revealed that it's Batman talking to her. And she's like, I'm not sure you think I am, Mr. Batman, but my name is Amy Beddoes, and I'll thank you to use it. He's like, point taken. May I speak to you privately, Ms. Beddoes? And she's like, my Batcave is down this way. You may enter without a blindfold. Because again, for years, whenever he would take Batgirl to the Batcave, he would blindfold her because he didn't want her to know who he is and where the Batcave's at or anything. Because again, he's got trust issues. And as they go in, Barbara activates something to stop any eavesdrop or anyone that may be peeking in on their conversation. And again, Batman refers here what I was just talking about, how, like, still ranks you, doesn't it? When Robin and I would blindfold you for taking you to the Batcave? Of course it does. It was right for you to know who I was, but not for me to share in your trust. And he's about to take his cowl off. He's like, would it help if I took my cowl off now? Again, trying to show that he trusts her and to make up for all these years when, again, and this is probably something he should have done previously. And I know I've commented elsewhere, and maybe here, I forget now, that I've got problems like the CW shows. Everyone knows who the hero is. Everyone, Wally, Arrow, all these teams have this huge support cast, and everyone knows who the hero really is. That annoys me, but sometimes I think, like I say, if you're, like I say, especially another hero like this, and he knows who Barbara was, so he should have revealed to Barbara that he's Batman. Sorry, that he's Bruce Wayne all along, or at least a lot earlier. But I like that the fact that he's now, would it help if I take the mask off, show you who I am now? And I like her response. That's okay. When I really want to know who you are, I'll dig it up. Now, how can I help you? Let her know, you know what? You got your secrets, but if I want to find out who you are, I can do that. And that's one thing over the Batman books for years. It's been hinted at that maybe Commissioner Gordon may know who Batman really is. I don't think it was ever explicitly stated, but I know back in the 80s and 90s when I read the book, Gordon made some comments that made you think maybe he knows who Batman is. But again, being the commissioner, and sometimes he has to go against the Batman, he doesn't want to officially reveal that he knows it. So I like how they've handled that over the years. And I like how Barbara's like, if I want to know who you are, I'll figure it out. And basically, Batman finds out the squad's on a mission. He's telling them why I need to talk to her. He has word that Waller had a hand in the explosion, blah, blah, blah. Basically, revealing, telling her that, he's trying to find out what Waller knows about the explosion that, in quotes, killed Ray. And she's like, I know you. Odds are you have an allegation from an unnamed source. Do you have any other verification, any other evidence? And he's like, that's why I'm here. Batman, I've worked with Waller. I've met the new Adam. I like the new as in quotes. The new Adam, who, by the way, has not convinced me he isn't Ray Palmer. And I just don't believe the Waller would do what you're suggesting. And Batman's like, I do. I've also worked with her. I've had the body in Palmer's grave examined, the blast destroyed hands and face. I did a tissue sample, had it analyzed. It shows cellular stress consistent with size changing. Now, will you tell me Waller is? So, again, he's trying to find out if Waller's dead. If Ray is dead. And, again, the body in the casket has had size changing done to it. So, because it shows up in the DNA and the body. So, at this point, he's assuming it's Ray. And, again, I know when I first read them, I'm like, no, it can't be Ray. Because, again, as I said, Ray Palmer, the Atom, is one of my two favorite characters. So, again, I was all along hoping that this new Adam, this Adam Cray was actually Ray in disguise. Because, again, I love Ray Palmer, and I didn't want to be dead. So I know at this point, he's like, oh, crap, did they really kill him off? Oh, man. Well, it's just, again, and that I'm trying to remember, they've killed off the Flash, Barry Allen already, and replaced him with Wally. This is before Green Lantern, in quotes, dies and Kyle Rayner takes his place. I say Green Lantern. Hal Jordan, in quotes, dies and Kyle takes his place. So the superhero, in quotes, dying for good isn't something that happens very often as of yet. So again, I remember at the time when I read this, I'm like, oh crap, is Ray dead? Oh man, I know it's comic books, anyways, bring him back, but oh man, don't kill off the Ray. I love the Ray. I love Ray Palmer. He's a great character. Then we got to Fishing Creek, Maryland. We're at the Crab Claw Motel, where Waller is basically letting the crew know what's going on and what their plan is. And she's like, okay, here's the plan. You know what needs to be done. Any questions? And someone, I'm not sure who it is, like, you mean outside of while we're doing this? And Waller's like, because that's what we're hired to do. If you got personal, moral, or existential problems, you work that on your own. You got 30 minutes before we start. Now, get out of here and get where you need to go. And she's finished the talk, and Floyd looks over at Boomerang, and he's like, bang. Point to gives a finger gun, and, says bang to him. Boomerang's all, stupid Gala. And I had to look and see what it is. I was curious what Gala is. And according to the internet, it tells me that Australian slang Gala refers to a foolish or stupid person. It's derived from the perceived stupidity of a native pink and gray cockatoo, the Gala bird. So, again, that's why I have to ask my buddy Dave if that's a term that Australians actually use, or if there's something, again, they've picked up somewhere along the way. But, and again, Floyd's still mad at Boomerang for losing their luggage way back. And, again, this is what caused I believe he was a baggage handler or something that stole Deadshot's costume, became the new Deadshot. Deadshot had to hunt him down, kill it. Talked about in the previous episode, but he's still blaming Boomerang for that. He's still, again, if you want a Boomerang dead, Boomerang be dead, but he's still threatening with that. And as they break up, Boomerang goes up to Adam Cray and says, hey, Cray, got a half sec? I understand there's a hard feelings between you and Lawton over how I killed your old man. Look, I don't blame you at all. I know how I'd feel if it was my old man. Lawton's a loony, dead cert. Might take it to his head to do you next. I mean, he's a little nut off his nutter, isn't he? It's like this. He hates me too. Blames for his luggage getting lost. Can you believe it? Thing is, well, missions like this are dangerous. People don't always come back from them, do they? And then Cray's all, what are you saying? I'm just saying it might be in our mutual self-interest to make sure Lawton don't come back from this one. So Boomerang being Boomerang is conniving behind Deadshot's back or Floyd's back, trying to get the new Adam to kill him off to save his own neck. And I like these last two pages. Basically, we have Superman, Batman, Aquaman, which is on the cover, meeting in Gotham. And we find out that apparently at Ray Palmer's funeral, they made an agreement to try to find out who killed Ray, why, and they were going to meet up and take care of the person, however they need to do it. And basically, he's letting letting the guys know that, kind of a recap of what's going on, that the Suicide Squad was in Japan. The new Adam showed up, a convicted burglar called Adam Cray, who was the son of Senator Cray, who shot to death by Deadshot, a member of the squad. And he says, I haven't confirmed theories that Waller may have known about the blast before it happened. And Superman tells him, well, I've been asked by the government to make sure Marlo stays in custody because the Suicide Squad's trying to either kill him or bust him out. And Aquaman's like, Batman, look, we were raised friends. His teammates back in the Justice League just started up. I don't know much about either this Waller or the group she runs, but I haven't had very much liked what I've heard. My question is, what are we going to do about this? And Batman's like, we're going to do something. Now we know where to look for Waller. We go find her. And we ask Waller, in this new Adam, some very pointed questions. And again, I love here on the bottom page 22, this close-up of Batman's head. He's talking. And as the scene ends, we usually get a close-up of Batman's eyes, his cowl. So we ask Waller, in this new Adam, some very pointed questions. And that is where this issue ends. So again, I love the beginning of the storyline. Like I said, as I've said previously, I love this entire story arc. The Atom being one of my personal favorites. I love that his friends in the Justice League are doing something about his, in quotes, murder. So I do like where we're going. And again, we'll find out next issue a little bit more. Speaking of next issues, you know what? We're going to take a break, play some promos, and then I'll be back with the next issue of The Suicide Squad.
I don't know, but I have heard we'll be back after this word.
Worlds would live.
Worlds would die.
And DC Comics would never be the same again.
Crisis on Infinite Earths. The crossover so epic it reached every corner of the DC multiverse. Join DC Dave.
Even Doug Adamson as we discuss The Monitor Tapes.
A Crisis on Infinite Earths podcast.
Find us on your favorite podcatcher and join the discussion at themonitortapes.com.
Oh, hi, Dr. Sterner.
Hello, Paul. How are you doing these days?
Yeah, I'm good. Since you, cured me of my DC OCD, I've got so much more time on my hands. It's been for the best.
Well, personally and professionally, I'm quite proud of what we have achieved, but I have some bad news for you, Paul.
Oh? What?
There's something missing without your DC OCD there.
Oh.
I've even heard friends of yours been saying you're basic. A little boring. There's no there there.
Oh, what should we do about it?
My God, I hate to have to say this, but we have to go bring it back somehow.
Well, shall we do some more sessions and I can use them to talk about DC events that we haven't covered, like Dark Crisis and Fear State, those sorts of things?
I think that might be for the best, Paul. Let's reconvene in 2024 for more sessions of DC OCD.
And that'll make me interesting?
We will see, Paul. We will see.
Back in 1940, 8 sensational heroes united to create the world's very first superhero team, the Justice Society of America. Now, 85 years later, we're gathering podcasters and bloggers from around the globe for a month-long celebration in an event we're calling JS April. Throughout April 2025, join dozens and dozens of podcasters and bloggers as they each share their own unique tributes to the original and greatest superhero team. Get ready for an all-star month of beloved characters, fascinating insights, and incredible stories. Follow the action on social media with the hashtag JSApril, and visit our website for a complete list of participating podcasters, bloggers, and what they're each covering at fireandwaterpodcast.com/JSApril.
Now we go back to the fun. Message time is over and done.
Some great shows there. Check them all out, as usual. Let's go ahead and move on to issue 60. Already gave the rundown on the stats and all that, so let's look at the cover. The cover, we've got Superman, Batman, and of course Aquaman fighting members of the various, I believe the Jihad and the Hialtha. I forget which is which now. But we got Batman fighting, I forget their names, forgive me. Batman fighting someone with a sword, the sword lady, and I'm sure we'll cover that in the issue. Superman fighting Golem, and Aquaman fighting the Mariner, I want to say, under the water. The title says Squad Quest. Got our Suicide Squad logo on the top. Very nice cover. I like this cover. Not as good as the last issue. Not as memorable, I guess. But it's a close second. It was a good cover, and it kind of tells us what's going on in this issue. I do like it. Behind Batman, there's a broken chain link fence. In the background, there's a building with like a spotlight shining out. We got the glow from the light. It's very nicely done. The cover, the background, we got like a blue sky going like a light blue to a darker blue with black. Oh, it's clouds, or I think it's black clouds above them. Very nicely done. I love the way, like I say, all three of the characters look. They're all classic looking. I mean, after this, they would start changing their looks here and there over the years. But yeah, these are kind of, to me, classic looking versions of Batman, Superman, and, of course, Aquaman. Moving on the issue itself, we got our title, Ledgermain, Part 2, Dangerous Games. And it tells us where we're at. We're at Blood Island, Chesapeake Bay, Maryland. And we get the Sword Lady and Golem from the cover as they're breaking into this fence here. So the first couple pages is the team breaking into where President Marlowe's at. And I like here on the top of page 2, we see one of the buildings in the prison with a chain link fence, and behind we get clouds or fog rolling in, assumingly caused by the magician of the team as he's floating above. He's chanting some magic words as he sends the vapors rise. And as the other team starts breaking into the base, and I like this one of the soldiers like, boy, this fog got thick all of a sudden. I can't see a darn thing. And we hear someone say, don't worry, soldier. Let me see Superman on the last panel here. I can see just fine. Again, classic Superman. I love this version of Superman. This was my era of Superman, so love it. And we have Marlowe sitting in a cell looking at his watch. And again, I love here on the top of page 3, just the smug look here on the top of Marlowe's face, because he knows he's got a rescue team coming. Not knowing who else is all coming, but so he thinks he's going to be out of here soon. And apparently the underwater guy's name is Piscator, because he's watching the magician above him, the thing in the fog, and he's like, I could kill him now. And someone's telling him telepathically to hold off. I told you to wait. And his Piscator is watching the magician. Aquaman's watching him. I like this here at the bottom of page 3. This last panel, Aquaman just sitting there silently watching this guy watching the magician. Fantastic. I love the way Aquaman just sitting there quietly like, you'll get yours. And then we cut to a side gate where we get a soldier, an MP patrolling, and this little girl comes walking up crying. And he's like, little girl, how'd you get here? Where'd you come from? And she's crying also. She pulls her hands away. She got like this evil grin on her face. She starts telling me she was with her pa and their boat crashed on the rocks. And he's like, and I'm thinking it'd be fun to peel your mind. And apparently this gal can make people feel their fears, can make them live their fears. And she tells us that he's got a fear of death by suffocation. And that she kind of explains what's going on with her powers. That, she's making him feel like he's suffocating. And she's like, that's funny, mister. Air all about you. You can't take no breath, can you? As the guy falls over dead. And again, I've always said that the mind is a very powerful thing. So if someone can get in there and mess with your mind and make you think something that's not true, again, that can be a very dangerous power, as we see here. And then we get the woman with the swords. I'm not sure if that is Badab or if that's someone else, because the little girl's saying that, she's got the doorway and she's talking to Badab. Badab says, good work, maintain your position, hold the gate. And then we cut to the swordswoman from the front cover in the background. We don't see who it is yet. We see someone stalking her through the fog here on page 5. I love this. We find out on the next page is Batman, but here on the bottom of page 5, we just see a leg, a gray leg standing in the mist, and the bottom part, the bluish black part of his boots covered with fog. So you can't really make out what it is. And then I just love this scene of Batman just coming up behind her. And here on page 6, there's a side panel just showing the prison with the fog rolling in and you can't make anything out. Just, you don't really see anything, but I think it's a great panel the way it looks. And then we cut to the Colonel talking to Diabuk, which I'm probably mispronouncing the name, which is, I think it's the old Jinn made into a computer program now. And basically saying that, Diabuk is exploring its new ethical parameters. And he's like, I promise you'll either start aiding the Hayuth again, or I will purge your artificial intelligence of its artificial personality and start all over again. So you either help me or I will reprogram you. And again, a computer program, especially I like that back in the late 80s, early 90s, they were realizing what computer programs could do, what artificial reality. I mean, AI, at the time was just a thing of imagination writers. Now we have AI helping us out, in quotes, helping us out, do a lot of our art and helping like with writing and all this. And again, whether it's beneficial or whether it's a bad thing, AI is here. And this kind of hints at what, we're not quite to with holograms yet like this, but we're headed that way. So I do like here it was back, early 90s, 30 years ago, and they could see kind of where we're going, even though it's just all fantasy at this point. And top of page 7, Superman's talking to the guard still. He's like, all right, when I give you the signal, hit the spotlight. And the guard's like, hey, okay, won't do much good, this fog, Superman. And again, Superman's like, the fog's about to lift. As he does this classic Superman bridge, blowing the fog away, clearing out the entire compound. And he's like, hey, now, hit the lights. And here we get kind of what we see on the cover, where we get the spotlight shining from the tower, and we get spotlighted, we get lit up, the gal with the sword, Batman, and Golem coming up behind him. And the magician that was causing the fog to come, he's like, oi! And this guy, one of the guys that's watching what's going on, reporting back to an unknown observer, is like, problem, Superman and Batman have shown up, are about to engage the Hoth. Hoth. And the person on the radio is telling him, well, there's an alternate plan, you're going to free Marlowe, where everyone else is fighting. And then we get Batman facing off with the sword woman. And again, we get her name here finally. It's Judith. She's an Israeli ninja assigned to the Hayuth, which is the metahuman division of the Mossad. So it kind of fills us in on who this group is in case you're not quite sure. And like myself, I forget exactly which team's which and who's who. So like Batman's here kind of explaining what's going on to us. And Judith throws some throwing stars and takes out the spotlights. And then here we get a little scene of Batman fighting her. She takes a swing at Batman with him leaping over. Fantastic shot of Batman leaping over her sword. Meanwhile, a fishing net's going and landing on top of the magician, pulling him into the water. And I forget his name now, we talked about earlier, but the guy that's under the water, the fisherman's hat and the spear, the trident, he's like, you'll speak no spells down here, magician. Behind him, Aquaman comes up and punches the back of the head. He won't need to. The guy in the water's like, I see, King. I salute you. You're a foe worthy of my steel. And Aquaman's, I take it you're a telepath. Whatever else you have, or whatever else you are, what part do you have in this assault? Are you part of the Suicide Squad? Because again, all they know is that the Suicide Squad is, in quotes, supposed to be either freeing or killing Marlowe. And again, I'm doing that in quotes. You can't see that, but so he doesn't know who all these other players are. Because again, as I say, there's so many different players, you need a scorecard to tell the difference. And again, he tells who his name is. Piscator, a Janissary. He hires out to certain Middle Eastern governments. He's here for Marlowe of Karak, and the magician stood in the way. As of the moment, you do. Or do you? Same thing. Aquaman's standing in his way. And yes, we get a little fight between these two while the magician's able to free himself and swim away, while Aquaman and, I gotta go back, Piscator are fighting. And I like how we're cutting between the different scenes of our heroes fighting these other, I want to say villains, but I don't know if they're necessarily villains per se, just because they have a different mission than our heroes and they're opposing what is traditionally our good guys. Doesn't always necessarily make them bad guys or villains per se. And then we get Superman fighting against Golem. I think his name was Golem. And he's telling him, he's like, I'm sorry for this intrusion, Superman. Believe me, I have a great deal of respect for you, but if you do not back off, I'll be forced to make you do so. And Superman's like, Intrigue and transformation, friend. While you may be a concrete sort of guy, I'm the one they call the Man of Steel. As he just punches Golem. That's what I keep calling him, because I believe that's what his name is. And again, so here on page 12, we get Superman fighting Golem. And again, Golem, well, he can transform himself into different things. So he's able to, Superman punches him, he's able to reform himself and attack Superman. Again, he can make himself super strong. So nice battle for Superman here. And then we get Marlo. We get the alarm going off as Marlo's eye begins. And we get someone with a firepower coming to free him. I like here on page 13, this guy's got an eye patch and suspenders and a red shirt, lights a little fire and makes it bigger and blows in the door where Marlo's cell. And as he's free, he's like, "This way, please, Mr. President. Mind the edges of the meadow. They are quite hot. This way, sir, quickly. Now we make good our escape while the Americans and our Israelis are pummeling each other." As we cut to Judith and Batman fighting, Judith's taking another swing at Batman, he's leaping it over. Fantastic shot here. And page 15, just a silent, in quotes, panel. We hear some sound effects, a thump, chalk, chud, as they're fighting. And again, Batman's kind of the best at what he does. But Judith is no slouch in that department either. So again, just a nice fight for Batman here on page 15. I love the way it's drawn. We get Batman in his classic gray bodysuit with the blue/black shorts and trunks and cowl, boots, and gloves. He's got the yellow symbol with the bat emblem on his chest, his yellow belt. Just, to me, it's a classic Batman. I love, as I've said before, and I'll say it again during the story arc, I love the way Batman's drawn in here. And again, page 16 is more fighting. I like here, Batman kind of leaps out of the way and does some flips, and then just thump as he punches her, knocks her out. And I like the juxtaposition here. Bottom of page 16, we have Batman just punching her out. And we cut to page 17 where Proctor, whatever his name is punching out Aquaman. Not punching him out, but punching Aquaman. And then gives him a knee in the guts. Again, just a nice battle here between these two. I love the way it's drawn. You don't get any words between them, but you don't need anything because it's just a nice battle scene. I would love to see this play out like in a movie or TV show. Just these two battling it out. Well, actually, all 6 of these characters battle it out. And as the guy that freed Marlo's coming up to that little girl, and she's like, "How's everything going?" They're fighting each other, doing better than we could expect. And all of a sudden, she looks at Marlo. She's like, "Hold on, you're nuts." And she's realizing Marlo's not who we think he is. As he just kicks her, knocks her down, and then he grabs the fire guy and shoves his face into the chain link fence. You're on bottom of page 18. I love this shot of, in quotes, Marlo pressing this guy's face into the fence, knocking him out also. And as both these guys are knocked out, he pulls off he does something, and a mist comes out of something holding his hand, and we revealed his nemesis. Again, we haven't seen him in the book in a while, Tom Tresser. And he reports in, "Nemesis here, cover's been blown. 2 of the Jihad came to rescue Marlo, and I had to put them both down. We've got problems." And as he says that, we cut to the scene of Batman fighting Judith, Superman fighting Golem, and the magician coming over the fence to help out. Just a fantastic battle scene here. Again, I would love to see this like in a movie, just this scene of these great heroes battling the Jihad? Yeah, the Jihad. Fantastic. And the magician casts a spell on Superman to kind of distract him. And so we got our 2 heroes fighting against the 3 Jihad members. And all of a sudden, Nemesis comes walking up, holding his 2 captives with some guards behind him. He fires a gun in the air, or someone does. Thought it was him, but he's got his hands full of his 2 prisoners. He's like, "I think we all better talk." And so we got the Sarge still with Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Nemesis, and the other members of the Jihad standing around talking. And we find out that apparently Sarge still asked Nemesis to impersonate Marlo while they hit him elsewhere. And apparently no one knew that Marlo was switched out and he's been hiding elsewhere. So Batman's like, "Where's Marlo now?" And Nemesis is like, "I don't know. They didn't tell me." And Aquaman's like, "But how is this connected to the death of Ray Palmer? We're here because the Suicide Squad allegedly knows something about Ray's death, and they were supposedly coming here to do something for Marlo." And Aquaman's like, "So where's the Suicide Squad?" And Batman, the greatest detective, he's all, "That's what's been bothering me through all this. There's no squad. Where are they? What are they up to? More important, what's Waller up to? And again, nice cutscene here as he's asking, what's Waller up to? We cut to Waller with her gun on Clifford, aka the Thinker, and he's been activated. And she's like, okay, Carmichael, you get the information I asked for. Try anything else, and I'll scatter your brains across the wall. Microchips and all. Savvy? And we find out that this is where Marlowe's at, that Cliff Carmichael is going to interrogate him. Well, I say interrogate him. He just uses his powers. You're going to talk to me? You're going to tell me everything I want to know? We're bosom buddies, you and me. Talk to me, pal. Tell me about the Cabal. And we get Marlowe, finally we see Marlowe with a sweating as he's being controlled by the Thinker. And then it says, next, snafu, as another member of the squad dies. Because again, that they are called the Suicide Squad. It's been a bit since one's died, so it's about time, I guess. But yeah, fantastic story. Second issue of this Mystery of the Atom, as I call it, story arc. And we got 2 more issues to go on it, but fantastic. And I like the next issue box, or not the next issue box, but yeah, the next issue box. It says the next issue box with a knowing smirk. Suicide Squad 61, Amanda, Bronze Tiger, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, Count Vertigo, Nightshade, Nemesis, Oracle, the Thinker, Golem, Judith, Ramban, Daibuk, Colonel Hauchin, says Agni, the Bada, Piscator, and ex-President Marlowe. Superman, Batman, Aquaman, plus the Microforce, the Cabal, and the Atom. 30 days. Reserve 2 copies, 1 to save, and one to reread about 20 times. Dan Raspler. So again, I love the story arc. Again, part of it because I love the Suicide Squad. Another part is because, again, as I've said before, the Atom is one of my 2 favorite characters. So I just love the story arc, and now they're finally delving into the death of the Atom. We get the cover of the next issue where we get Batman, Superman, Aquaman, Bronze Tiger, Nightshade, and Amanda all behind President Marlowe yelling at him, it looks like. Definitely sets up the next issue. And again, I can't wait to get to it next month. But that's going to do it for this issue of Suicide Squad. Again, great story arc. I love the art in here. As I've always said, I prefer the more traditional bright colors, the 4-color world of the average superhero. But Suicide Squad needs these darker tones, I think. But it's not too dark. I know a lot of books I've read, they get dark and they get a lot of heavy inking. And I don't care for those as much. But something the way they do this book, it conveys that dark grittiness of the Suicide Squad, but it still has that feel of when they have, Superman, Batman show up. They're darker, in quotes, because again, they're in this darker book, but they still look fantastic. So, fantastic. I keep saying that word, but I love it. But that's going to do it for this episode of Task Force X. Join us next month when I cover the next 2 issues of the Mystery of the Atom, or Ledgermain as they call it. And again, unfortunately, soon we're coming to an end of this show. Probably another 3 or 4 episodes left, and we'll be hitting the end. So let me know what you think. Again, whether you listen to it now or for future people, send me an email to taskforcex@headspeaks.com. Again, taskforcex@headspeaks.com. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear from you guys. Also visit the website, headcast.headspeaks.com. You leave a message there. You can listen to all my shows on my network there. But I guess that's going to do it for this month. Until next month, squad mates, dismissed.
Thank you for listening to another great episode of Task Force X. I can also be found rambling on my main headcast of Head Speaks, where I rant and rave about movies, comics, geek stuff, and whatever is bugging me.
Mate, you just out-crazied the Joker.
Well, I tried, Boomer, but anyways, my home on the internet is at headspeaks.com. HEADSPEAKS.com. Links to my blog, which contain follow-up information to this and every headcast, can be found there. Both Task Force X and Headspeaks are on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at headspeaks.com under Headcasts. Please feel free to email me any questions, comments, or concerns to taskforcex@headspeaks.com. And if you want to record a message, you can send it to me at taskforcex@headspeaks.com, and I'll play it on the air. I'm also on Facebook at Task Force X, and also on Google+, you can look for Task Force X under People and Pages. All titles and characters discussed are owned and copyrighted by DC Comics. I claim no ownership to the Suicide Squad, Checkmate, or Task Force X. I'm just a big fan wanting to spread the Task Force X love with everyone else. DC Comics can be found on the web at dccomics.com. Be sure to visit your local comic shop and look for Suicide Squad and Checkmate Comics. And while you're there, see what else they have that may interest you.
Mother...
Well, make sure you join us here next time for another fun-filled headcast from your friendly neighborhood Brotherhead. In the meantime, I'll see you in the funny pages.